Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. So, as you can see, we're starting from, from under the car. You might ask what I'm doing here. Well, if you remember and watched the previous episode, we disconnected all the coolant lines, which took a bit longer, and I think the video got a bit boring. I realized that probably I will have to be more concise with my stuff and be more on point, so less rumbling and more doing and showing. So it's going to be a bit less faff, but yeah, less faff. Anyways, I'm gonna stop rambling. Why we are under the car. So first of all, we need to disconnect some wiring that goes from the ECU, and it's going somewhere under the car. And the question that I have, I do not know where it's going. So as far as I know, there might be some wiring that goes to the gearbox, but it doesn't look like. I think this thing is hiding the main positive that goes from the battery. I don't know if you can see it, it's very tight here, but this is main line. This is your positive. You can see the red wire up there. This thin one, I don't know where it's going, but by the look of it, I think it goes somewhere into the ECU, and we definitely need to disconnect that one because there is no way to disconnect it from the top. I mean, everything on top is kind of disconnected almost. There are a few things that are still connected to the intake, like NOx sensor, oil pressure sensor, oil temp sensor, a few other sensors. I'll show you where they are on the spare engine that I have. But right now I'm just going to spend some time and investigate what else do we need to remove from under the car. You just press on a springy thing that's just on top and remove it. So it's a two-pronged plug, disconnected from this little clip, and I think there's one more clip on top, so you might want to get your hand up there. Feels like there's another cable going down, which you can't really see where it's going. It's definitely on top of the gearbox. See, there's this one and this one that we just removed. There's literally no room. I feel the plug, I feel the connector, and I think I feel like the thing that I need to be pressing, but it's really right on top of the box, so I don't know if it's possible to do with one hand. So I guess at this point I do need to put the camera down. Whew. Okay, I disconnected this plug. It's sitting right on top of the gearbox right there. There's a BMW logo cast on the bell housing of the gearbox, so this is your main guide to kind of where this, I don't even know what that is. It's a 3-wire sensor, but it's a bit of a pain in the ass to disconnect because you can't see what you're doing. The way to do it, there is a small plastic prong that you need to lift up, and basically I just kept pulling on the wire because you cannot get your grip on the plug itself with your second hand. So just be careful. You might break the wires, but I don't see any other way of doing it unless you remove the whole thing with the box. Could be an option, but for me it's a bit too much, I think. And yeah, so this is it. This is the plug. Now what we need to do, as I said, these two cables. So the first one is your positive cable that goes into this distribution box, and we need to find a way to disconnect it. Or, well, first of all we need to know how to open it, and I think there is a clip or something that we can pry. Yeah, I can see there are two, well, I see one prong, and yeah, there are two prongs that we can push on. Not quite. Well, in reality it's a lot easier. So as I said, there are these two prongs that you can't really pry or push them down. So the way to do it actually is to pull these things out a little bit, and it just slides out, so there's nothing that holds it to anything. And we need to undo this nut that holds this big wire that goes onto the alternator. And as far as I know, it goes somewhere else, because on that engine, I'll show you actually I'll show it right now. Goes on how it looks. So this is the stud that it goes onto on the alternator, and this is the cable itself. So we'll have to undo it from this end, so you can see it from there. The way to kind of figure out which end is which. This is straight, that's straight. The one that goes onto the alternator is bent at 90 degrees, so it sits like so. But as you can see, there's another mounting point that I cannot see on this engine. I know that's somewhere there. Oh, actually, I think I know. That's probably, this is the mounting point for the starter, because I don't see anything else. It might be just it. Okay. Let's remove that thing first, so we don't forget about it. I think that must be a 13. Well, it is indeed a 13. If it was a Jap car, you wouldn't be able to find a single 13 in it, but it's a BMW, so it's a lot more common than you think. Nope, just don't drop it. Okay, disconnect it from here. Put the nut back on where it belongs. So for the most part, we are good. The only big question is how to go about this loom, because it's going down to a multitude of sensors, and in all honesty, I don't want to disconnect them all one by one, because technically I could, but the way the engine is set up, the entire layout is your favorite BMW layout, where they have the intake on top and the engine is kind of like tilted, and everything is just like tucked away under the intake. So good luck fishing it out. And I think it will be much easier just to do it the way those guys did, the guys who got me that engine, and they basically removed everything from this kind of fuse box. And I guess we're just gonna do the same. We'll have to swap this lump anyways, because as far as I can see, like these two sensors that we disconnected from the gearbox, like these two, they are different on the automatic car. I'll show you in a sec. There's a big round plug on that one. So as I said, let's try. Well, we're not gonna try. We're gonna open this box and see what's inside, and hopefully it's not as scary as it looks. Okay, it's slightly more intimidating than I hoped it would be, but I think for the most part you can trace everything and where it goes and how it's plugged in. This wiring is, I think it just goes to all 3 fuses here, and I think they are actually connected to that loom as well. So yeah, I think that's kind of it. We just need to unclip pretty much everything. Sorry for the bad lighting, but basically, if you don't want to break these, I'll try to show you how they lock in. So you can see there's a little prong here, and you think, oh yeah, you just need to press this one. Unfortunately, these are not pressable, so these are the stoppers that hold this fuse thingy in place. And what you should be doing instead is to press on the actual thing that it's mounted on. So you can see there's another little prong, and that's the prong that you need to kind of like press outward. And you can see like it's one here, there's one there. All of them are, maybe not this one, but most of them are mounted the same way, and this thing is a lot more pliable. You can actually move it around. As you can see, it's like very flimsy. It's not flimsy, it's not going to break. It's like it's got a lot of give in it, and I think that's by design, so everything can be pushed, and that's how it's basically held in place. So I'm just gonna, as I said, apologies for the awful lighting. I think that's better. I'm just gonna continue disconnecting things one by one, and hopefully it just pops straight out and we can go to the gearbox and the exhaust, and I think for the most part it's gonna be it. It does look a little bit scary because, like, okay, how should it all be put together? Because, like, first of all, take pictures. I took multiple pictures of how it was sitting before I removed everything. These things, these two connectors, the white one, and it's not black. I mean, on camera it's a bit more reddish than it's in real life, so it's real life it's gonna be, I guess depends on your lighting, it's gonna be like dark, almost brown reddish. You don't have to remove the things that they're plugged into. You just disconnect the things. There are 2 clips on each side, well, 2 prongs, this one, press them together, pull them out. Same with the white one, same idea. And this one you need to disconnect it from here, just unplug it. This red cable goes all the way, I don't know, I think it's the sort of your, I don't want to just make it up on the spot, but it's a red, and I think it goes to your battery as well. Don't know why, but here's what it is. You still would want to unplug the thing that it's plugged into, because it's still, well, it's attached to the loom, so it is what it is. The relays are a bit tricky. they've been held by this little prong, and they're really hard to get to. You really need to press on it, and then you kind of like press. I used my screwdriver, so I would just wedge the screwdriver like this and then turn it around and pressed against this white plastic bit, because otherwise these little teeth, they don't let you kind of like pull out. Other than that, it was relatively straightforward. As I said, I took pictures and I think we're ready to rock and roll. We just need to find a way how to free this thing up without breaking anything. I can see there's a little... Oh, okay. Probably there's another one. Oh yeah. They're symmetrical. Okay guys, we're just doing it together then. Yeah, then I guess it's as simple as just lift it up and voila. This is how you undo the wiring on the N20. Hold on. Yeah, that's a little bit better. So yeah, I think it's the easiest way of doing it like this, simply to get everything out of the fuse box. I think on other models that's the space for the ECU. I think for N52 the ECU is not mounted to the engine, it's sitting in the box. So if you're working on a different Z4, your layout is probably different. This is relevant for N20 engines, which are 1.8, well, 18i, 20i, 2.8i. So these are the engines with a similar-ish layout, I hope. There's a difference though in wiring. I noticed it, cross-reference between the spare engine, well, the new-ish engine, new for me, and the other one. So you can see that there's one more plug. There's a proper black one. This is the reddish one, and in this one there are two more wires going in. So there's red one and pink and grayish, I'd say, and the black one. I don't have the black one on my loom. The white one is the same. The relays are the same, and everything else is the same. And this extra red wire, I guess it's another, maybe it's for the starter, to be honest, but no idea, don't quote me on that. I'm still learning. The goal is, I think I'm gonna replace this loom, because as you can see there are some discrepancies, and I don't want to just chance it that it doesn't start for some reason, or it's throwing a code for, again, maybe it will think that there is an automatic gearbox somewhere and it's not plugged in. So I don't want to have these issues, and it's going to be a real pain to disconnect it. And the reason why I'm saying it, another reason, is this plug. This one goes to the gearbox. So as I said before, this one came from an automatic, and this is what goes into the, well, what I can only imagine, automatic ECU or some connector that goes into the gearbox or something like that. But basically I don't have this on my manual. On the manual you'll have only two wires and that's it. So I assume that these extra wires and the extra plug is for the your automatic gearbox. So as I said, the coolant is done, the wiring is done. Everything else that's left is more of a mechanical kind of thing. Well, not that the other things weren't mechanical, but what I'm saying, it's more just like wrenching the bolts, the gearbox and the exhaust. I think the course of action would be to get the catalytic converter off. I don't know if you can see it from here, but there's the nut here, and I think this is probably the best way to get, actually it's not a nut, it's a bolt, and it's probably the best angle to get to, and it's from the top. I already disconnected the O2 sensors. They're here. Again, don't worry to mix and match them because they have different colors. They're color coded, quite easy to figure out where they go. You can see there's white one inside. Well, probably not from this angle, but white goes to white, black goes to black. Everything is relatively straightforward. Whew, I'm not gonna lie. Disconnecting the cat, which is, well, the downpipe, the cat, whatever, one thing in one, was a little bit more complicated than I thought. Well, first of all, someone decided to tack weld the clamp that holds the exhaust pipe to the catalytic converter. Then the thing just got caught on that C-clamp, D-clamp, I don't remember what's called, but it wasn't budging at all, so I had to wiggle it a little bit. Yeah, I think from this angle, what can I say? You need to remove these two bolts. I think the T14, I don't remember honestly. Like, it took me a while, and it's pretty cold. Not the most exciting thing in the world to do when it's close to 0 degrees outside. So yeah, 2 13 nuts, 2 bolts, and the clamp that holds the catalytic converter on the turbo, and the last, the cherry on top, we need to get it out of this pipe because it just slides in and clamps, and as I said, I had to basically grind the clamp off because it was welded to the pipe. Yeah, so hopefully we can just knock it out really quick. Hey! Can't believe we... Oh, what's it? Okay, it's being held by a wire. The wire is... Oh, let's see. Okay. Oh, damn it. Should have seen it. Okay, I'll show you guys. See that clip? Right there. This is what's holding us back, and I think there's another one on top. Not an ideal scenario, but at least you know that there are 2 brackets that hold the O2 sensors. Remove them before disconnecting the cat. And it's out. Nothing was damaged. The wires are still intact, but yeah, as I said, there are 2 brackets that I missed, and they were holding the whole thing on the wires. The cat itself, it does look okay. It's 90,000 miles car, so it's not too shabby actually. I was afraid that I might damage the cat by hammering it out, but because there's this flexi pipe, I think it just dampens all the vibrations and knocks, so don't be afraid. I think it's the only way to actually remove it, at least if you, like me, live in a rust belt. Yeah, and honestly, like, it's not even too badly rusted. There is some surface rust, but it's not horrible. The flexi pipe is kind of on its way. I don't think it blows, but this top layer is kind of fraying. We're not going to replace it today, and probably in some future we'll put like a sport cap, but for now it will do. We just need to start the car and see if it's running, if the new engine is any good, and if it is, then we'll start modifying the car, which is the fun part. Okay, I guess I just need to, well, just, again, I keep saying just, but we need to remove the gearbox, engine mounts, and we should be good to go.